welcome to this week's Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy Holistic Transformation Podcast. Today we have as our guest speaker my very good friend James Kawainui. Did I say it right?
Really close.
Okay, I'm working on it. He is a native Hawaiian healer whose passion is to help people overcome trauma and the debilitating mindsets and patterns that prevent them from living more positive, productive, and pain-free lives. Welcome, James.
Aloha.
Aloha, yes. I love people from Hawaii because it's those of you who know me know that I lived there from 7th grade through college. And Hawaii has a very special way of healing people, and James is an expert in that. Tell us about that, James.
My family goes back over 20 generations in Hawaii. And the easiest way for me to explain that is that we were the shaman of our culture. There's a term that we use in Hawaii. But the thing about it is it's a position that's a given, and I haven't been given that position, so I don't call myself that. But inside of that knowledge that the Hawaiians have, and everybody has this knowledge, not just us, right? Is that understanding of energy, the understanding of the interconnectedness of everything, the understanding of how nature, we are in resonance or in harmony with nature. So everything is based off of that. And so in Hawaii, the understanding of energy, the energy of how to heal, the energy of how to make the wind blow or the rain come. It's an understanding of how energy moves in the universe. So everything kind of, in some ways, kind of stems from that, that vibration, that energy, that frequency that we have. So that's where that lineage comes in, because it gives me a foundation. And the way that I work is, it's almost as if it feels like my ancestors are whispering in my ear, and then I talk to the people that are in front of me. So it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 100 or whoever, there's this connection inside of bringing the message forth that needs to, or is ready to be heard. Let's just put it, not needs, but ready to be heard, right? Or ready to be delivered. Because sometimes even I don't want to deliver the message, and they said, no, it's time.
Oh, I've been there.
Just like before we went on and then we hit record, we were talking about that, about where everybody is,
Yeah, it's kind of a strange energy right now where we're up and down, up and down. You just went through that, right?
I did. We hit patches where everything feels like it's good, and then we hit patches where everything feels like nothing's in alignment. And the reality is that what it feels like now, and it's not just me, it's also the people that come to me and I have been working with, my students, is that it doesn't feel like things are in alignment right now. And if we look at all the pieces that play inside of that, you and I were just talking about the astrology of it, there's this convergence, but there's this crashing. And then there's also this place of the end of a cycle and the beginning of a cycle that's showing up. And for me anyway, between the two cycles, there's always this disruption and there's always this uncertainty. And that's what we were just talking about, was the uncertainty and the doubt that's in the collective right now.
Which affects all of us.
Well, we are part of it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that people realize how much the collective is affecting where they are in their lives, because we're not paying attention in that way. So all we know is what's happening to us, right?
Yeah. But everyone around us is affecting us, as well as the energy of the planets and the transitions, and it's just all hitting us. So the way I could describe it. It is bombarded with this energy.
It's like being in a perfect storm right now. It really is, And so what do we do when we're in that place? And the only thing we can do is find balance. not to get thrown off in any way, but where can I find that? And right now the balance beam might be the edge of a sword, and yet can I find that balance in my day-to-day, right? That we were talking about, what are we going to call this when we first got on? And I said, well, what I wrote was keeping your shit when everything around you wants you to lose it. And that's really what it feels like.
Yeah.
Everything around me feels like it's conspiring for me to fail, or it's conspiring for me to step back into that self-doubt, or that questioning of myself and my purpose and why am I here? And you and I both hear this all day long from people, right? Why am I here?
Why am I here? What's going on? Am I good enough? Am I on the right path? Yeah. And these times, that kind of energy is what's coming up within us to, I think it's just not to challenge us, because I think we are in the right place. We are doing the right thing, but it's just reinforcing our own commitment to our path. And what helps me to get through it is to go into a state of gratitude. I just sit down and say, okay, what is working? What am I grateful for? And I start praying or doing meditations based on gratitude. And that pulls me right out of it.
It does. I start and I end my day like that. And I have been doing that for a really long time. Because stepping into that gratitude in the morning as part of your practice, and we can kind of make a sidestep here and talk about that for maybe a minute or two. And if you don't have a daily practice right now, then there's no way for you to be grounded and centered as you go through your day. And that's paramount, I think, for everyone now. Even if it's 3 minutes, even if it's 5 minutes, you deserve that for yourself. You can give that for yourself. That place of taking a breath, coming back into your body, feeling yourself as yourself, outside of everything else that's happening around you. And then going into that place, what is it in my life that I see that's positive? What am I grateful for? Where are the miracles that are happening? Because even though we may not think that there are miracles happening in our lives, every day there are miracles. Most of the time we're not paying attention and we don't see them, right? So when we bring that idea forward and we put that idea inside, then we create that space. I'm not sure. Oh, hold on.
Okay. When we bring the idea forward,
when we bring that idea forward like that, it becomes in our mind. We're feeling it, we're understanding that, we're watching it happen, we're looking for it, right? And then at the end of the day, when we sit down, we have to have a place where we come back into our bodies, because for whatever happened during the day. And as we do that, then I very purposely say, I let go of everything that's happened today. I let go of the people that I saw. I let go of the places that I've been to, and I send all of that energy back, so that when I go to bed, it's by myself, not with everybody and not with all the things that happened. And then there's this place of gratitude inside of that, because I look back and I go, wow, what are the amazing things that happened today? Can I see, even if it's just 1 or 2 things and they don't seem like they're big things in that moment, having that space to be able to do that? Because what you're doing is you're setting an intention, and you're creating a consistent energy as much as possible. And because of where everything is right now, that is probably the most important thing, is to keep that balance. And we were talking about that in the judgment that shows up, the perception that we have of other people, this really place of very polar opposites right now that we're watching on a macro level, right? inside of everything that's happening around us, and then on the micro level with what's happening inside of me.
Yeah, I think it's really easy, if you're, quote, woke, to think everybody is offending you. And if you're awake, you think everyone that isn't awake is stupid. And actually, we have to listen to both sides, because both sides have a point to make. But both sides also have to accept the fact that not everybody's going to agree with you, and that's okay. We don't have to agree with each other. We just have to respect the fact that we're different and celebrate the differences. There's nothing wrong with someone that, in fact, I really enjoy people who are different. To me, if everybody was the same, it would be very boring. I like the differences. To me, I like hearing people's culture and whatever they believe. I think that's what makes the world go round, is the differences.
It is the differences, but it seems like inside of humanity, we're locked in this idea of you're with me or you're not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Either you agree. If I have an opinion, and we're not even going to go there, but if I have an opinion and you don't agree with me, then you're not my friend. You're not, we can't associate with each other.
Yeah.
And it creates more conflict in that way. So instead of, we're looking for those places where we either agree or we don't, or we're actually looking for those places where's the common ground? Can I find that one place where we see or are in agreement or see eye to eye, And I love that analogy that you talk about, that place of being woke and then the place of being awake, because both sides are looking at the other side thinking that, not that they're crazy, but that they can't align with each other, right? Because
they're right and the other side's wrong.
The whole piece around right or wrong, the people that are awake are looking at the other side and going, how crazy or stupid in this, and then but they're saying, but these people are so judgmental.
Which is a judgment.
Which is a judgment in itself. And then we look at the other side of that, and they're looking at that going, God, all these airy-fairy new agey people, right? And look at, they're not even in their bodies, they're not even grounded, they can't see what I see. So, so we're both saying the same things. And so there's this judgment piece. And so where's the place where one of the things that I work with my clients a lot is finding neutrality, right? And what I mean by neutrality is, where's that place where I'm aware of the energy that's going on around me, but I'm also aware that it doesn't have to affect me, right? Every time bad things happen, this is how our minds work, right? Every time bad things happen, it feels like a failure, or I'm a failure, or I'm not enough, or any of that. Maybe this is the perspective change to go through. What happens is, every time that thing that's happened all my life, that one thing that keeps showing up, that keeps reminding me how not good I am, right? Every time that shows up, instead of me falling into that judgment and that criticism, I can turn around and look at whatever it is and look at it in this way, and then go and thank you for reminding me that that's not how I want to live my life. Thank you for reminding me that that's not the person that I am striving to stay, or I'm striving to become this other person. So when I fall out of alignment like that, and that I feel that, it's a reminder that I need to step back in. That's it.
I have a little phrase that I use. There, but for the grace of God go I. Thank you for not letting me go down that path.
Yeah.
I go back to gratitude and I just say thank you.
And that's a piece. It becomes a course correction.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
every time those things happen and you see it, and right before your mind goes to the place, see, you did it again.
Yep.
See, you're no good. And then the other
Yeah.
part that goes, oh my God, there I am again. I am fill in the blank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right before I get to that point, I go, oh, I can feel myself going down that road.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me step back over here, right? We have to teach ourselves to do that. It has to be a conscious choice.
Hmm.
Because the pattern that we all have inside of us is always going to defer to that dark place, to that negative
Yes.
space. Very few people that I've ever met are in that alignment where there's not the tendency to drop into that dark space.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people that say that, oh, I only see the love and I only see the beauty inside of
They're
everything
delusional.
else. It's delusional to a point where one of my teachers called it spiritual bypass, because you're ignoring the part of you that is very apparent by not paying attention to it, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
I'm bypassing all of that, and I'm kind of literally I'm going like this and going, I am not paying attention to you. Remember when you did that when you were kids and
you think no one can see you?
I'm not paying attention to you. I'm going to look this way and I'm going to walk by and you're not even going to see me as I walk by. And did it go away? No, it didn't go away. I'm just not putting my attention or my energy to it.
I have a friend like that, and she'll say, that's not in my reality. And it's like, it's in everybody's reality. You're either part of it or you're aware of it or you're not.
Yeah. It's realizing that it's there and then making the choice, or then looking at that and going, I get it. This is happening and I understand it. And internally, I'm coming back to this centered place.
I choose to be here.
I choose to be here.
Yeah.
Not I refuse to look at that. Those are two different things. Right? Two different things.
Right.
Not paying attention. It's a choice to be in this space. I see you.
I call it denial.
Yeah.
And when I first got divorced, I used to tell people I was the queen of denial. Put up with crap for so long. I didn't have clear boundaries, and I was doing this the whole time. I was miserable when I was married. I finally got divorced and got some help. And I went, oh, I had to face all this stuff and all my responsibilities and my reactions, and and it's not that you make a mistake and beat yourself up. It's you say, okay, I'm going to choose not to be that way anymore. And you just have to make that choice.
That's empowerment.
Yes.
That's empowerment. And that's also, if you want to talk about it like this, that's breaking that pattern. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Because those patterns are running, they're unconscious. We're working them and we're replaying them over and over and over. So to become conscious of what's happening, so that I'm clear that I'm making this choice. Even if the choice in this moment is I don't want to get pissed off, but damn it, I'm going to get pissed off. At least you realize that you're making the choice and you can see it inside, right?
I don't think we can deny our feelings. It's how do we want to express them? Are you going to get pissed off sometimes? Yeah. How do you want to express that? What do you want to do with the anger? I like to use the mother who lost her daughter and then formed MADD, M-A-D-D, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, who changed all of the laws because of her anger. And she used that anger in a very constructive way. And that's what our choice is. Do you want to beat somebody up, or do you want to do something constructive to change the world?
One of my teachers would have said that that's righteous anger.
Righteous anger? Okay.
Because there is, and people can justify righteous anger all the time, but it's a righteous anger that comes from a centered place, because I'm channeling this energy that would have been anger, where I wanted to reach out and to physically, emotionally, psychologically hurt someone, and say, I'm going to channel that energy for good, for a positive reason, to create change, not to create more pain. Because that's the difference. Because when we're angry, what we want to do is hurt someone else because we're hurt, right? And if we take that anger and go, well, wait a minute, I don't want to hurt someone with this energy that I have. I want to create a change, or I want to create something different with it.
And save someone else's child.
And save someone else's child. So that anger, that's what I mean by righteous anger, that righteous, or that feeling of that changes things for the better.
Yes.
Right. Which to everybody listening, it sounds like, wow, that sounds really good. But you know what? All this shit's happening in my life. And I go, I get it.
No, right now it's pretty crazy. And so many people, I'm not political, but so many people are afraid right now. We don't need to even tell you what they're afraid of, because it's all over. I don't have a TV, so I don't watch the news, but I do hear snippets here and there of some of the stuff going on in the world, and people don't realize how powerful they are, and nothing has to happen that we don't want as a collective. So if as a collective we want peace, if as a collective we want all humans to have the right to live, to have food, to have a roof over their head, we can create that. That's how powerful we are. We just have to do it together.
Not only doing it together, we have to be aware of how the energy is running. Because I can say, I want peace, I want peace, I want peace, and there's turmoil internally.
Oh, well, yeah.
Right. And I can say I want peace all I want, yet if I can't find peace inside, and I don't know what that feels like, and I don't have the experience of peace, then how can I help manifest it? I can talk about it all day long, and it's not going to show up because internally it hasn't landed yet. And so we keep looking for it out here, hoping it's going to change me. But the reality is that the system works the other way around.
Right. You work on yourself.
Where it starts from here. So that peace that's inner creates. Look at it this way. If we're radiating energy, which is what we do, we're radiating energy constantly, right? When we can hold that space, when we have that balance, when we have that clarity, when we have that peace, it's what we radiate. And so then the people that we come in contact with, without even understanding it, because most people aren't aware of it anyway, we're radiating this peace and they feel that. You've had this experience, I know you have, it's the same as I do. People look at me a lot of times and they just say, wow, I just feel better when you're around. And it took me a really long time to accept that, because I was like, well, I'm not doing anything. Yet there's
it's your energy. Yeah.
People say, wow, you feel really grounded. And am I doing anything to do that? No, it's just who I am. And I'm not bragging. This is not the point of bragging.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Right. And the people around me feel it because the energy is radiating in that way. And so people talk about changing the world. That's how we change the world. That's how we change the world.
Yeah.
Right. I feel that peace. I radiate that peace, or whatever the energy is, happiness, joy, whatever you want. And I radiate that. The people around me feel it, to the point that it helps shift or change where they at. And then that's really the domino effect, because then it goes outwards, right? What we need is, well, not what we need. I'm going to take that back. I never say we need or you should to anyone, because everything's a choice, right? What we're looking at, and the opportunity for us, is to continuously be looking inside, going, how can I hold this space for myself? Instead of going out and telling other people how to do it for themselves.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
how do I hold that space for myself? And the more that I can hold that space for myself, the more I will watch that happen around me.
Well, I feel like I'm really, really blessed. I'm in this one Facebook group and everybody's always talking about this and talking about that. And they take pictures of the sky and everything. And I posted one day, I said, I feel like I live on a different earth because none of this is happening to me. My skies are beautiful blue every day. I don't have any stuff going on. It's like, I don't understand. But that's not that's not what's happening for me. I live in this very blessed place with every morning my first view is of the outside because I sleep with the blinds open and I see the blue sky and I hear the birds. I mean, that's what wakes me up in the morning. And it's like these people are taking pictures of these weird skies and all this kind of stuff. And it's like I don't live in the same earth as they do. So I believe that if you can stand in that place, that's what you create around you. That's the reality that you're manifesting. And it is a beautiful place of peace and joy. And that's how I feel right now anyway. Even though it's been crazy, I know it's crazy for the world and there are people dying, but through everything that's happened, I've lost some friends because they couldn't handle my point of view on things. That's their choice. I still love them. But I did not lose any relatives and none of the friends died. I know people have lost friends, they've lost family, but I was very blessed. Now, my cousins all got COVID, but they all survived. But the rest of my family didn't get sick and no one died. I mean, to me, that's something that I thank God for every day because that is an awesome blessing when I look at what other people are going through, which is really awful. I mean, when you lose a beloved parent or a sibling or a child, this is gut-wrenching and you never get over the loss. So I feel incredibly blessed, but I try to stay in that place of centered and grounded with clear boundaries and just radiating as much love as I can. I'm not perfect. I catch myself every now and then and I go, okay, I need to back that one up. But
the thing about it is that you're catching yourself and you're watching what's happening, and then you're making changes, or you're giving yourself permission to shift inside of that instead of just plowing blindly forward, right?
mm-hmm.
And so everybody's listening today, and so they said, well, this is all nice and good, James and Dr. Beverly, and I get everything that you're saying, but what's the practical piece inside of that?
Mm-hmm.
And the practical piece is what we talked about in the beginning. One more thing I think to share, or there's lots to share, but something else that I would like to share is that it will start to shift when you realize that things are just happening around you, but they're not actually happening to you. Can you see that person that's angry, that's projecting that anger, or that person that's sad, that's projecting that grief, or whatever it is, whatever we feel coming towards us. If we took that and we didn't take it in and created an emotional experience for ourselves, and we're able to have the awareness to realize that this energy is coming towards me. And in that moment, I have a choice to take it on or not. And then there's this other piece in that, is that as I feel, I'm just going to use anger because anger is a really good one. Everybody can feel that. Everybody feels the projection of that. I look at that person who is projecting that anger, and in that moment, they are convinced that they are angry at me. And I get that. Okay. I can't change that. And as that energy is coming towards me, I can look at that person and go, wow, that person is angry. There's no emotion, there's no judgment inside of that, right? I'm just acknowledging where they are inside themselves. And then then there's a part that goes, okay, do I need to do anything with that? Do I need to interact with that? Or do I just go on about my day and say, wow, you're angry, I understand. And in that way, then I'm not taking any of that energy on. I'm choosing how I interact or not interact with that energy. And I also choose not to take it on. And I just, there's this part that, because there's a compassion that comes in for me, and I just look at that person and go, wow, you're really having a bad day. I really hope you have a better day. I'm just going to send you a prayer for that. And I'm still myself, and I'm still moving through my day, and they are wherever they are. They can continue to be.
I call it not taking things personal.
Not taking things personally, right?
Have clear boundaries.
It changes then, because not everything is happening to us or about us. It's this weird thing that we have as human beings. We think that everything is happening to us. And yet it's not. It's the world operating around us. And we're witnessing that whatever is happening. And there are points where I interact or where I don't interact.
Yeah. Witnessing is a good way to put it. Observing the world. And a lot of people, they put themselves as the center of the universe rather than being one of the stars in the universe, like a star in the sky. And there's many, many stars in the sky, and they're each discrete. Wow.
And individual and part of the collective, right?
Well, yeah, you're part of a galaxy or part of a constellation or part of a whatever.
And all these people are going to have their opinions. They're going to have their ideas of how the world operates, and they are welcome to those.
Yes.
Do I need to change their minds? Is that my job to do that? Occasionally there'll be places where I feel called to step in and maybe to say something or to add to the conversation. But most of the time it's just watching all of these events happening and going, okay, this is where you are.
Yes. And accept them where they are.
And accept them where they are. Because if I can do that, or as I'm able to do that, then I'm going to look for the places where we line up. Even if it's one small little needle of lining up inside of everything else that's going on, I'm going to look for that space, because that's where we're being human beings together.
Right. We live on the same planet. You can start there.
we live on the same planet. We can start there. Exactly.
Yeah, they call that bridging. When I took a project management class decades ago, and they said, yeah, that place to start is bridging, so that you can find some common ground where you can agree, and then you can start to compromise.
We're not going to be able to compromise, and we're not going to be able to get ahead until I can understand the people that are in front of me, and I give them the space to understand me without having to change your mind, without having to judge, right? To just come together in that space. You and I talked about this on another talk that we had, which is about Ho'oponopono, because it's the same thing. It's that place of acceptance.
Okay, well, I could talk to you all day, James.
I know. Every time we get on here, we do that. We just we follow the breadcrumbs. So
you have a free gift for the audience, correct? Let's see. It's a meditation gift. Tell us about that.
It's a meditation gift. It's a gift. Meditation is called the self-love meditation, and it's a meditation that I created for another project that I had, but it's a self-love meditation. It's about being able to go in and to find that center ground and to find that inner peace, and then to be able to walk through your day with it.
Nice. So if you're on YouTube, I'm going to have the link down below. If you're listening it's kind of long. You'll probably have to have a pencil and a piece of paper, or you'll have to come back and watch the YouTube and get the link. But it's James, I'll spell his last name, Kawainui 043 L pages, PAGES .co/ the-giving-back-ceremony. But that's kind of a long link, but it will be posted underneath the video on YouTube, and you can click and get his wonderful meditation there. So do you have any closing words, James?
If I was going to say anything to anybody today, I would say be kinder to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be kinder to yourself. As you're able to be kinder to yourself and be more forgiving inside, you may start to see that happening in the world around you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stop judging yourself, and then you stop judging others. Good advice. Thank you, James. Well, remember to be the light you want to see in the world.